Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Carol. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't done so just yet, please like and subscribe. So I'm picking up this video. I'm already have my tips attached to my fingernails. They're already applied. So I am working with some rose water and some glitter I have from, I want to say those are Kiara Sky glitter. And the Kiara Sky glitter is in All I Can Think Of. And so this video was very challenging. I went live a few minutes ago, and of course I'm using the Entourage Nail Gallery Clear. I went live and I was talking about a very depressing situation I'm dealing with right now. And so it showed up in my work. Like I couldn't get anything done right, but hang in there with me. There is still some good nuggets in this video. So here I'm choosing to go in with the Not Polish primer. And I usually, if you've watched any of my videos, you guys know I like to use this twice. I'm not sure if you're going to see me apply it twice here. But in the case of when a product does not have a dehydrator and to go along with the primer, I usually use the primer twice. Okay, I don't think you're going to see me use it twice, but believe you me, I usually do. Followed by that, because we're going to be using some glitter, we will be applying some Entourage Nail Gallery acrylic powder and the monomer to the natural nail so that the glitters does not stick directly onto my natural nail. They can sometimes be a nightmare to remove when you're removing them. And if you care about your natural nail and that of your guests, I would suggest that you apply a thin layer of clear on a natural nail as to prevent any product sticking to the nail, which might be difficult to remove. All right, it's a favorite part of me doing a set. It helps me to think about the integrity of my nail as well as my guest nails when we are working with glitter. And this is the season. It's coming up to Valentine's Day. There's so many encapsulations or things that you could encapsulate into the nail. So, and like I said, I got triggered this week by an event that has me literally malfunctioning. That's the only way I can describe it. So 3/4 way through this video, I got to the point where I just didn't want to do the video anymore. And so you're going to get some really good nuggets, but the hand filing part and stuff like that and the buffing, I don't think I got it on this video. But you have seen me do it on many other videos, so please forgive me for not doing a complete show for you guys. The nail tips I am using is the Not Polish long, straight coffin stiletto nails, and I did not cut them. I used them as is. And tomorrow I'm shooting some Valentine's Day footage, and I really wanted my nails to be extravagant. I am doing a crunch cake, Valentine's Day cake event with one of my members of my board of trade. And so I really wanted to represent Valentine's Day in my nails. So where we are here, so we're still applying the clear to the natural nail to prevent any product sticking to the nail. And I want you guys to pay close attention to that new jar of clear that I have right there. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but pay attention to that. Keep your eyes on that clear jar. So I am going in with some Not Polish powder. And this powder is rose water. And it's a beautiful soft pink. Even though I don't necessarily care for pink Valentines, I'm usually a purple Valentine or even a blue Valentine or a white Valentine. I just couldn't get away from pink today. I did not go shopping for any elements of the nail to do on Valentine's Day in any other color, so I had to go with what I have. So my husband and I, where were we? We went to, yesterday was Friday, today's Saturday. I don't know, for some reason we came home and the house was extremely hot. And I think the temperature in the room that I do my nails in as much as I always complain that the room was cold, it was actually so hot in here yesterday, I was sweating. And so I feel like my monomer was making the powder a little bit chewy, like chewing gummy. If you've ever had overheated your monomer, you would know what I'm talking about. It gets kind of gummy. It was still workable. And once he turned the temperature down in the house, it started acting okay. But in the beginning, it gave me a little bit of run for my money. So you're going to see I have a little bit of challenges, but I was able to get it to work nonetheless. So on this set, I am doing the deep V's on these. It wasn't, I would say it wasn't really cooperating, or I wasn't cooperating. And like I said, this set is going to come down. Today is Saturday, so I did them Friday night. And then I have to cut them off and do a different set for St. Patrick's Day to start shooting the St. Patrick's Day videos. So I'm just going to enjoy these for 3 days. So like I said, guys, the powder, the monomer and stuff was acting really funky. So I had to go in with my X-Acto knife and cut the edges the way I wanted it, because God alone knows it was just being so irritating. And right there, those pieces that I'm cutting out, it feels like a piece of gum that you chewed for way too long, if you know what I mean. For those of us who tend to chew our gum way too long. He's like, Carol, how do you know gum that is chewed too long? Because I chew mine's too long. So this is my brand new container of clear. I'm sorry I skipped to, I'm not sure if this is lined up correctly or not, but I was doing my nails, the left hand, and I was about to cover up the glitter, and I was holding my hand over the clear, and it spilled. So what do you do when you spill a whole bunch of pink in your container? You make powder with it. So now the container is way too full, so it is not mixing. So I'm using one of my tools here and I'm trying to mix it, and it's just spilling everywhere. I'm telling you, it was just an example of the type of day I was having. So I'm trying to mix it, and I usually, when I mix glitters, I have a container that I mix it in, but it wasn't close by. And so I'm trying to salvage what it is I'm doing, and this is just not mixing. So what are we going to do about that? So I have a glass. I usually use this as a dapping dish. And I decided to try and split it in half and see if I could mix the powder so I get an even more nicer blend. But the pink was absolutely gorgeous. The pink was absolutely gorgeous. And rather than get frustrated, I decided I'm going to mix them. And then I had a whole bunch of, I'm using the handle of my dusting brush, guys. I had a whole bunch of, what do you call it? Different random glitters that I was like, once I got into the mood of mixing, I said, I wonder what would happen if I added a little bit of this and a little bit of that to it. It was a hot mess, guys. I was just spilling this stuff all over. And it was still too full for the container. So we put half of it back. I think there's something in there. And so I found some, what do you call it? I had some glitter when I had my subscription with Profiles Backstage. And it was like a Easter blend of hearts and stars, and I don't think they had any lips in there. It was more like circles and hearts and stars and stuff like that. And I said, I wonder what will happen if I start mixing these things. This was another container that has little random colors of circles. A little bit of pink and blues and stuff like that. I mixed that together. And then I started dumping in all the Profile Backstage containers of glitter. And then what is going to end up happening is I'm going to use this on the opposite hand. This is some other random pink that I had somewhere. If you ever had an accident with your powder, it's bound to happen. Don't lose your mind over it. Just try and figure out how to, what you're going to do. So at this point, the container is getting too full. And I pour it in this glass that I had when I go to, which restaurant is this? Not Legal Seafood, Red Lobster. Sometimes they have these promotional glasses that they sell. And this is supposed to be like a lighthouse glass. And I was like, great, you're up. I'm going to use you for mixing my powders. So now I can't use it for drinking out of it anymore. And then I started mixing them, and it came out so beautiful. I always wanted to do a video on mixing glitters and stuff like that, but I never got around to doing it, and I did it today out of necessity. I was just dumping stuff that I had in there. So it ruined my video in terms of what it is I wanted to show you guys. But we got a different lesson out, different content out of it. And so now I have a huge jar of that stuff. So here we picked up with, obviously I finished up some of this work off camera. And I'm doing some hand filing. My e-file was also acting up. So I did some hand filing. Basically, what I'm doing right here is where this isn't supposed to be an ombre. You're supposed to be able to see the deep V in between the glitter. So right here, I'm just filing the top of it to get the V shape in shape so you can actually see it. So when you blend up the two powders together, you put the glitter around the deep V. Sometimes if it gets on top of the pink, then it's not as sharp as you would like it to be. So that's what I'm using the hand file for. And then I abandoned that idea and decided, look, I'm going to go in with an e-file and maybe I'll have a little bit of better results. For this, I'm choosing a ABBA band. And then my e-file started malfunctioning, so I abandoned that idea and went back to my trusty old hand file. When all else fail, you need to have a good hand file game. So if you look close enough, you can tell that this nail set, I kind of rushed through them, but it will work well for the videos that I'm doing. And y'all know I post my vulnerabilities. I couldn't care less if the nails were perfect or not. The concept, the idea is what we're going after. All right, so I'm checking them out, making sure that that's what I wanted. And then I believe I'm going to have to go back in and build them up with a clear layer to get to the thickness that I want them to be. So I'm having to do my cuticle work with a hand file. That takes a little bit of skills, guys. Especially if you have flooding, this is one of the reasons why you definitely don't want to flood, because if you have flooding, then the hand file doesn't really do a really good job. And I'm just trying to work this one into shape. And even as I'm looking at it right now, I'm not quite sure why the side look like, we have a little bit of a powder in the wrong place. But I'm telling you guys, by the time I was done with this set was so gorgeous. And of course, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't go off scene. But as you can see, guys, I'm just hand filing it. Or whatever. And this is one of the sets that you really want to get straight, like your lines need to be straight on the cut, when I say the cut, I mean the deep V. You want it to be the hand file itself, the shape of the nails, you want it to be sharp. I definitely think this combination of powder, I will definitely do it again. It was so amazing. See, I got all these little flooding. It wasn't bad, but if my e-file was not malfunctioning, it would have done a better job. And then finally I got it to work. To clean up the cuticle area, which is very critical if you don't want lifting. I'm making sure that the underneath sides are nice and clear. I love that e-file, but I think I've worn it down. And so she's beginning to give me a little bit of stress. And you can see I'm going into the cuticle area and I'm really working out my flooding. And this is one thing I want to say, guys. Your attitude, your mood, your state of mind has a lot to do with what your end work is going to look like sometimes. And I can't go into it right now, but I was having such an awful day. And multiple times I tried to tell myself I should not have done this nail set. But, time waits for no man. So the stuff that I have to do, I have to get them done. But I did go out today and got lots and lots and lots of compliments. I went to TJ Maxx and Marshalls and a couple of places I was today, and people were just admiring my nails. It's like, oh, they're so beautiful. They're long, but they're not offensive. And yeah. So I was like, yeah, it's a temporary thing. Next time, though, I'm going to try a praise. The thing about that is, I'm thinking, because I haven't tried it yet, is that they will have the limit, unless you can put acrylic over it. I don't know. I'll have to try it and see, because I don't think I would have been able to put my creases. I may have to use gel polish to create the same designs, but I will be changing my nails very often, so I'm going to try them. And of course, guys, I didn't mention it, but please put your mask on and use your dust collector. At this point, I was actually really falling in love with them. I was like, that combination is pretty damn cool. So I'm coming back in with some clear, and the purpose of the clear, I believe this is what I'm going to do right now, is to build up the thickness on the nails. I did get my brush messed up, so I had to get another one. I walked away and left the brush with powder in it, so it was a nightmare to clean up. Oh, yeah, so now I am here just filling in the nails with the powder, make it thicker. And we use an Entourage Nail Gallery Clear for that. And I will be going in between forward beads as well as blending beads. And that's when I knew this was going to be pretty. When I put the clear down and the clear make them look so vibrant. Yes. Can you see it? Beautiful. So once again, this was the Matte Polish Rose Water and Kiara Sky, I think in pink. What is wrong here? I locked my drawer. And yeah, so all I'm doing is here is filling in the nail with clear so that we got a good thickness. And then I have to go do the opposite hand. So the opposite hand, I chose to do it with the glitters that we mixed. And oh, so beautiful. I sometimes don't like to do matchy-matchy. Some people have to be matched on both sides evenly. I couldn't care less. And because of that, it made it such a beautiful set. I'm still wondering, should I put some bling on it? But because I have to take them down so soon, it's kind of unnecessary to do that. Yep, so all we're doing is filling it in. So just enjoy this process for a second. Right here, you guys can see I'm using my Young Nails brush, and that brush has been to war with me. I have some Valentino powder. I have like a collection of Valentino, but I don't use them a whole lot. I either need to give them to somebody or I need to start using them. I think I'm going to start using them. Some of them I haven't even break the seal on them yet. Ooh, and those babies gorgeous. And for somebody who had no idea what I was going to do when I started them, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I really didn't start off wanting to do a pink Valentine's. I really wanted it to be purple. Purple. So I'm going into the opposite side. And oh, when I picked up, oops. I picked up the glitter and I'm using it for the first time. So you have pink and yellows and blues but it was so beautiful. I think I mixed it too thick, so I may have to get a bigger container and add some more clear to it. But there's no such thing as too thick when you're dealing with glitter, I don't think. And on this hand, guys, I was so stressed out. Um, yeah, I was stressing my application. Also, you all know I don't like my glitter to be too clumpy. I like to spread them out because, they have so much elements in there. Why do you want them sitting on top of each other where nobody would see them, right? That's my philosophy. And also, if you're putting it on too thick, you might be wasting it. And these things are not cheap. I am actually going to mix a couple of containers and I will give them to somebody because I have a lot of it now. And so I'm putting the glitter to the front and then I'm going to fill the back in with the rose water. Guys, I was spilling everything. And I'm coming in with some rose water to the back. And sometimes, guys, when you're doing the opposite hand, we talk about brain confusion when you switch your hands. If you make a mess, don't worry about it too much. You got to trust the process and know that you can hand file it and buff it out. I'm beginning to get a little bit of backup in my brush. And for that, I usually soak in a little bit of acetone to soften the product. And yeah, I got my brushes all messed up. Something happened and I walked away and I didn't clean the brush before I walk away. And so thank God I have multiple Kolinsky brushes. And I was able to put a couple of them to the side. Guys, I was having an awful day. Stuff was just falling down. And I'm just filling in the back. I know we're slightly off camera here. Sorry about that. You know, sometimes when you're doing certain type of work, you just want your hands closer to you. And I kind of got carried away. On focusing on what it is I was doing, so I didn't pay attention to what I was on screen or not. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take an intermission break to get the brushes clean. So, fun fact, make sure you're keeping your brushes clean before you walk away from your table. Make sure you wipe the product off. By the time I came back, the brushes were all compromised. All right, so I'm just once again putting on some clear powder for the purpose of building up the thickness. Yep, I want my hands to be closer to my body. I'm putting a reverse bead right here, pulling it backwards so the apex looks natural. It rises and falls where it's supposed to. And I'm putting another small bead to the front to make sure the thickness in the front matches everything else. I cannot wait to do my St. Patrick's Day nails. It's probably going to be just as long. It's probably going to be just as long. And I love the greens. I lost my brush for a second there, guys. I'm telling you, I had such an awful day yesterday. Everything that can go wrong was going wrong. I'm dropping my product, and y'all know I'm stingy, so I didn't want to waste that. And after a while, I just had to abandon it. Forget it. I thought that glitter was just absolutely happening. Now, there was one of the pinks that I added, and I've had that pink powder. It's not powder, it's glitter, but it wasn't flattering by itself. But once I mixed it in with the rest of the stuff, it was absolutely happening. Absolutely, absolutely happening. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. And I just kept wanting to fall. That's how I know I think I have too much. It doesn't have enough acrylic powder in between, the clear powder in between there anymore. Like I overmixed it. So I will try adding some powder to it just so that it's not that thick. Beautiful. And then when you're encapsulating, you want to make sure you put enough clear on top so that when you're hand filing, you're not filing away the encapsulation on the bottom. And I'm basically just doing that to all 5 nails, right? And what else are we doing here? We still filling them in. So the pinky, did I do the pinky all the way? No, the pinky wasn't done all the way. So then I'm going to go back in after we put the glitter down. I'm going to go back in and we're going to fill in the back with some rose water. And I have to warn you, the non-dominant hand, this went down rough when I was putting it down. Okay, so I'm encapsulating it first before. That helps to keep the glitters from moving. So I'm posting this video regardless because I really needed y'all to see the process. And sometimes behind the scenes things don't always go the way you want it to. You know, we can put up videos. We can put up videos that look so perfect and you don't get to see all the bloopers behind the scene. Well, there was plenty of bloopers behind the scene on this go wrong. So right here, I'm just putting some clear down to make sure that the glitters stay where I want it to stay, so that while we're working, it's not falling off, they're not shifting around. And I can't wait for us to get to the filling in the back so you guys can see. This set didn't all go in my way, but don't abandon your work while you're doing it and it's not actually working out in your favor all the way. You can actually still produce some really pretty work with it. Yeah, so I'm also building up the thickness to the front with the clear as well. That's pretty. That one is real pretty. We talked about how when the nails get longer, you can end up having some flat surfaces. You really need to pay attention to those surfaces being filled in. So here it is. We go in with the rose water. Hands are going off screen, but you can see I'm having some spillage issues. And so we need to clean that up. Yep, right there. And on the other side before it starts settling in. Of course, you know, when I put a reverse bead in, we making sure that the apex blends to the front of the nail. Still spilling. Still spilling, guys. When it rains, it pours. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I do. I am going back. I always go back and look at my work. And at this point, I am getting frustrated. I'm like, it's not going down the way I want it to. The temperature in the room is off. But in the end, I just kept on pushing through. And in the end, it's worked out in my favor. So like I said, you're not going to see the end, how I clean this up and stuff like that. But here comes the reveal. This was a diamond in the rough. All right, guys, this is me adding a little bit of cuticle oil to this bad boy. And there you have it. I thought they came out beautiful. Not only did they come out beautiful, they will work perfectly for my production that I'm doing for Valentine's Day tomorrow at noon. And yeah, I think they were great. All right, have a good one, guys.